Welcome to Diversion Insights Quick Takes. I'm Terry Vidals, your host and founder of Our Expert Solutions. Today we're tackling a fundamental topic, chain of custody, keeping meds secure through handoffs. Let's zero in on something particularly critical, chain of custody for controlled substance drips, or PCAs. This isn't just paperwork. It's a lifeline for patient safety, nurse protection, and effective diversion audits. First off, what do we mean by chain of custody in this context? Well, in simple terms, it's the documented trail that tracks a medication through every handoff, ensuring accountability at each step. For controlled substance drips, or PCAs, this chain becomes even more vital because these are high-risk, high-volume meds that are prime targets for diversion. We're focusing here on nurse-to-nurse handoffs during shift changes and department-to-department transfers, such as from the floor to the OR and back, where these ongoing infusions may be particularly vulnerable to subtle tampering with devastating consequences. The key practice here is performing a full chain of custody handoff at every critical transition point. That means with every change of shift and anytime the patient is transferred to another unit, like the floor to the OR and back again. Why? Well, from a patient safety perspective, this handoff confirms the medication is correct, the infusion rate is as ordered, and the lines are properly connected, especially if there are multiple IV drips running. Mix-ups or rate errors could lead to underdosing, pain relief, or worse, an overdose. But here's where it ties directly into diversion mitigation. During this handoff, both the outgoing and oncoming nurse should double-check the current volume in the bag, or PCA cartridge, and sign off on it together. This creates a time-stamped record of exactly what's there at that moment. Why is this documentation so valuable? Well, just ask your diversion mitigation team. It's gold during the audits, right? When reviewing patterns such as a drip that's mysteriously low on volume without corresponding documentation, these handoff records let us pinpoint discrepancies shift by shift to help rule out valid explanations and flag potential tampering. But it's equally important for the nurses themselves. In the event of a diversion concern, say a controlled substance drip is not containing the volume it should, based on infusion rates and time elapsed, this handoff protects the nurse who isn't engaging in diversion. It shows, hey, when I handed off, the volume was correct. Whatever happened wasn't on my watch. A proper handoff can also highlight other diversion tactics. For instance, another nurse on the same shift might siphon off the bag while covering for a primary nurse during a break. Or someone could enter the patient's room unseen or under the pretext of checking something else when their real intent is accessing the IV. We've seen cases where audits reveal patterns like this. Volumes dropping inconsistently during specific overlaps or quiet times. Without these handoff sign-offs, it's harder to isolate the issue. An innocent staff might get caught in the crossfire of an investigation. If you're not doing consistent handoffs, this type of activity might go on for a long time because the nurse doing the diverting didn't dispense the med, wasn't caring for the patient. It's not on a regular cadence necessarily. It's whoever has a drip, and putting all those pieces of the puzzle together can be very difficult. And we're often not tipped off to this until a colleague questions, hey, why were you in my room? And that's when the investigation begins. But if you have these regularly scheduled shift-to-shift handoffs, you may start to notice a pattern of, wait a minute, that drip wasn't at the volume that it should have been, and neither was this patient's the day before, and start putting the pieces together sooner. Bottom line, implementing strong chain of custody protocols for controlled substance drips and PCAs isn't optional. It's essential. for safety and accountability. Make it policy. Require those double verified volume checks and electronic or paper sign-offs at every shift change and transfer. Train staff on why it matters. It's not just for compliance, but for protecting patients and each other. If your team isn't doing this consistently, it's time for a refresh, perhaps with an education session or policy audit. That's today's quick take on why chain of custody for controlled substance strips and PCAs should be part of your arsenal in diversion mitigation. If this hits home or you need help strengthening your program, just reach out. Thanks for listening. Stay vigilant.